Hi, I'm Karl Konrad. I founded Australian Immigration Law Services 23 years ago. We are a team of immigration specialists based in Sydney, and we help those looking to live, work and study in Australia get their visas. On YouTube, we share information about visas and requirements, provide tips on applying and keep you up to date with important changes. With the start of the new migration program year, many states have been upgrading their requirements and list of eligible occupations. Some changes have also been made to the Parent Visa 870 subclass, and the invitation round was issued for the 189 and 491 family-sponsored visas. This is the latest Australian immigration news. Let's cover the federal government's Joint Standing Committee on Migration's final report, where they have made 18 recommendations regarding Australia's skilled migration program. Our chosen highlights of these recommendations are: 1. The age limit for the 494 visa be raised to 50, the English requirement lowered to vocational, and the current 3 years of work experience required dropped down to 2 years. 2. The 485 post-study work visa be extended to 3 years for international student graduates who have graduated in the top % of their course or achieved first-class honours in an area that would lead to a job in a skills shortage. 3. Those who hold the 482 visa with an occupation on the short-term occupation list be permitted to apply for permanent residency through the Employer Nomination ENS 186 visa. 4. Merge the long-term occupation list with the short-term occupation list and just have one skilled occupation list, which is actually the way it used to be. Essentially, many aspects of all the recommendations indicate that things are going to get better for skilled migration when things get better. You can check out all the 18 recommendations at your leisure using the link in the description below, and it makes fascinating reading. The Immigration Department released its first quarterly targeted invitation round results for the 189 visa and family-sponsored 491 visa. For a lucky 500, 189 visa invitations were issued. The minimum points needed were 80 points for the 189 visa and 65 points for the 491 family-sponsored visa, where 250 invitations were issued. Most of the pro-rata occupations did not receive an invitation, except for 2 engineering occupation groups. Unfortunately, the department does not publicly release the breakdown of the occupations for which they are targeting. We can only go by this vague statement as a guide. The government is closely monitoring migration and visa settings to ensure they are consistent with public health measures, are flexible and do not displace job opportunities for Australians, so that Australia can effectively respond to the immediate and subsequent impacts of COVID-19. The New South Wales Government released updated occupation lists for the 190 and 491 visa state nomination programs. It was a welcome surprise to see so many new occupations added to the list, particularly teachers, enrolled nurses, welfare support workers, trade workers, cafe and restaurant managers, social workers and, of course, the accountants. However, people residing outside of Australia still cannot access New South Wales nomination for the 190 visa or the 491 visa. You can view the full list of occupations for the 190 and 491 visa on the official New South Wales Government's website, and we'll leave a link in the description for easy access. The requirements for the 491 nomination now has 3 streams in operation, and let me quickly go through the streams. For Stream 1, you are required to have been living and working in regional New South Wales in your nominated occupation, all closely related, for 12 months or at least 20 hours per week. However, New South Wales may consider inviting candidates under Stream 1 who have been living and working in regional New South Wales for a minimum of 3 months, again have been working at least 20 hours per week. In this case, according to New South Wales, if you have at least 3 months of work experience in regional New South Wales, you should use Stream 1 and not Stream 3, as Stream 1 has priority. You need to select 3 regional area preferences, and of course you must be sure the regions have your occupations on their list. Stream 2 is for those who have studied and lived in regional New South Wales and can claim points under the Immigration Department's points test for regional study. Stream 3 is where you have an occupation on the regional list and you may be living in regional New South Wales but not working in your nominated occupation, or not living in regional New South Wales at all but rather in other parts of Australia. Of course, Stream 3 widens the net considerably for those potential applicants, but before you get too excited, the New South Government prioritises Stream 1 and 2 for applicants. For the 491 visa, you can now only use the Government Registration of Interest system first. No direct applications are available to the separate RDAs like before. If one of the regional development areas sends you an invitation, you can then apply to them directly. However, since registration of interest is free, what have you got to lose? Note, you can only register your interest once every submission window. Submission windows for the 21-22 financial year are those of the months of August, October, January and March. There is no date set for the invitation rounds for New South Wales. The Victorian Government announced new nomination requirements which focuses on 6 particular target sectors. They are now targeting individuals who are currently working in Victoria in STEM occupations. This is specifically for those with STEM skills and not any occupations working within or supporting these target sectors. This is a significant change to the requirements of last financial year. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics and Medicine. The target sectors of the Victorian Government state sponsorship are as follows: Health, Medical Research, Life Sciences, Digital, Agri-Food, Advanced Manufacturing and New Energy, Emission Reductions and the Circular Economy. As of the 28th of July, the ROI system had already exceeded 3,400 registrations. There are no submission windows for the 21-22 program. You may submit an ROI at any time up till April 29, 2022. The Tasmanian Government has made some slight variations to the sponsorship program, with the most notable being for the 491 sponsorship criteria. Now applicants working in Tasmania in an occupation on the Tasmania Skilled Occupation list can apply after just 3 months of full-time work experience. Migration Tasmania's current nomination priorities are: 1. Candidates with employment and skills assessment related to critical roles, generally health, allied health, infrastructure, engineering. 2. Candidates with employment and skill assessment related to Tasmania's Skilled Occupation list. 3. Candidates in other skilled employment, ANSCO skill level 1 to 3, with a related skill assessment. 4. New business owner providing substantial employment opportunities for local Australian citizens, permanent residents, or provisional visa holders. 5. All other eligible candidates with skills or training relevant to the needs of Tasmania and who are able to make a genuine contribution to Tasmania through skilled employment. We've provided a link in the description below to a useful webinar presentation held by the Tasmanian Government earlier this month. The 870 Parents Visa Extension. This visa had a significant modification come into effect on the 1st of July 2021, whereby if such visa holders were outside of Australia on the 1st of July 2021, they have had their visas extended by a further 18 months. This change was to give those visa holders extra time to come and live in Australia to compensate them for the COVID-19 pandemic. The new law was relatively simple to execute, and it does raise a critical question of why hasn't the government made similar changes to those who hold other temporary visas who are stuck outside of Australia. Those visa holders have generally made a much higher investment into Australia in relation to money spent, far more than those who obtained the 870 visa. The government has for ages now known of the plight of these visa holders, and it's about time this minister demonstrated some leadership qualities, which shows Australia has not abandoned its famous history of giving people a fair go. Certainly locking out temporary residents and making them endure emotional and financial hardship cannot simply be blamed upon the pandemic. As a country, we have the capacity to make allowances for those who have suffered in this pandemic and not just forget about them because they're stuck offshore. Similar extensions to their visas will go a long way to make them feel they are still welcome in Australia once the pandemic has died down. So that's it for the August edition of Australian Immigration News. We hope to see you here next time, and to make sure of that, don't forget to subscribe. Like our video to show your support, and join us on Facebook to get the news faster, usually the day it happens. As always, take care out there, and I'll see you next time. So bye for now.